I am going to call through the March 28th meeting to order for the Mexico City Council. And Marcy, would you take the roll, please?
Miller. Williams.
Here.
Hay.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes. Chris Miller's not here tonight. He's in the Caribbean someplace. I forgot where he said, but in any case, that's where he is. So I'm Vicki Briggs. I'm the Mayor Pro Tem, so I'm taking his place. Our first thing on the agenda is we have a Public Works presentation. Mr. Schlegel.
Yes, Your Honor. Our Assistant City Engineer, Drew Williford, which is responsible for most of the presentation this evening, is ill. So we're going to push this off for 2 weeks, and he'll be here first meeting in April to give that presentation.
Well, I hope he gets well soon. All right, and the next thing on our agenda, we have a presentation to do, and that is a proclamation, and it is for Mr. Leonardi. What I've been asked to do is to stand up here and read it, since I have a mic up here, and then we'll do the presentation down front. Is that okay with you? And I'd also like to acknowledge that Alice has come with you, and Alice is as much as you've been active in the community, Alice, you've been too, I know, because you're my next door neighbor. So anyway, it's good to see both of you.
We have dinner at 6 o'clock on every second and fourth.
Okay. All right. I'm going to read all of this, and it's only because I thought it was interesting, and for me personally, it brought back memories too, because we've been here about the same amount of time. So, and I remember exactly where we lived when we came. I remember where you lived. I remember where we lived, and that was a long time ago. Okay, proclamation, City of Mexico, Missouri, whereas Louis J. Leonardi, being honored by the City of Mexico on March 28, 2022, for serving the citizens of Mexico, Missouri as an appointed official for a record total of 45 years as the city attorney. And whereas Louis J. Leonardi was born in St. Louis, Missouri, graduated from the University of Missouri class of 1973, JD, admitted to the State Bar of Missouri in 1974, and joined the law firm of Leonardi and Baker the same year. Louis J. Leonardi, licensed to practice before the United States Supreme Court, the United States Court of Appeals for the 8th Circuit, United States District Court for the Eastern and Western Districts of Missouri, United States Tax Court, and the Supreme Court of Missouri. Whereas Louis J. Leonardi primarily practices general, civil, and trial practice, products liability, workers' compensation, insurance practice, municipal law, and has served as a mediator in personal injury and commercial litigation. He served as acting city attorney from 1974 to 1976, and was appointed city attorney in January 1977. These years of service have been marked by exemplary dedication to the best interest of our community, and we appreciate his assistance to the City of Mexico through these many years. Throughout his life, Louis J. Leonardi has the very highest caliber of work ethic, and his service to the City of Mexico has been invaluable. And whereas Louis J. Leonardi has had the support of his loving wife, Alice, for 50 years, and they have 3 children and 3 grandchildren. Louis J. Leonardi is a member of St. Brendan Catholic Church, serving as an ordained deacon, and has also been an active member serving on various community boards. Whereas the devoted public service of Louis J. Leonardi is deeply appreciated by the citizens of our community, and is the wish of the City Council that this service be duly recognized. Now, therefore, and it reads Chris Miller, and since he has signed the proclamation, I'm reading it for him. Mayor of the City of Mexico, do hereby proclaim March 28, 2022 as a day to honor Louis J. Leonardi and in the City of Mexico, and call upon all citizens to express their thanks to Louis J. Leonardi for his dedication to improving the quality of life in Mexico. So we congratulate you. You certainly have been. And personally, I don't I think the proclamation quite states just how dedicated you've been to this community and how involved both of you have been involved in this community. So if you want to come forward, then we'll do the picture and I'll present you with your plaque. Okay, Vicki, you'll have to tell us how
Okay, all the council's going to be in this picture.
Get out of the way.
I just thought I'd give you fair warning. Okay, thank you.
Lou, we have one more thing for you. For the staff. Appreciate everything. You'll know, we'll find them. You might need those on Thursday.
Yeah. May I say thank you very much. It's been my privilege to represent the administration, the city council, and the citizens of Mexico. And you know, your job is easy when members of the council, first of all, serve for $1 a year. So you know they're not in it for their ego or to grind some issue. And second, they're honest and they have a work ethic. And I've never had a member of the city council who I couldn't trust. Never had a member of the administration, particularly city managers and assistant city managers, that you couldn't trust. And that's the best that a lawyer can ever ask for in clients. So I appreciate that very much.
Thank you, Lou. We now are at the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the March 14th minutes?
Make a motion to approve March 14th minutes.
Second.
Marcy, take the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Hay?
Yes.
Shivers?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes. All right, now we're on to bill number 2022, and bill, and having Lou retired now brings us to this particular thing. Mr. Schlegel, would you comment, please?
Yes, this is a resolution concurring with the city manager's appointment of the city attorney and authorizing the city manager to sign a legal services agreement for city attorney services. As we know from earlier, the current city attorney, Lou Leonardi, is retired after decades of service to the community. Therefore, the city sought new services of a qualified attorney or law firm to assume the responsibilities of city attorney. We issued a request for qualifications. We did receive 4 responses to the city's RFQ by the submittal deadline. We received responses from the Cunningham, Vogel, and Roast firm of Kirkwood, Missouri, the Weber, Hamilton, and Weber of St. Charles, Missouri, the Curtis, Hines, Garrett, O'Keefe firm of Clayton, Missouri, and the Lauber Municipal Law firm of Jefferson City. Each applicant needed to be a member, either as an associate or an owner of the law firm, and had to have experience in the areas of land use development and law, personnel law, contract law, public works law, open records, open meetings law, and municipal law in general. The applicant was required to have substantial knowledge of local, state, and federal laws and court decisions affecting municipalities. Applicants could not have any ethical or business conflicts of interest by representing clients who were adverse to the city. An evaluation committee was used to evaluate the responses. The city attorney is part of the law department, and that department consists of the city attorney, the city prosecutor, and the judge of the municipal court, all of whom are appointed by the city manager. The selection committee unanimously recommended to the city manager the law firm of Cunningham, Vogel, and Rost. of Kirkwood, Missouri, with David A. Struble to be designated city attorney with the law firm. The CVR firm is a regional firm that provides legal representation exclusively to local governments and/or related public interest clients only. Dave Struble is a principal attorney with CVR and practices law in the general municipal matters, land use and zoning, public utility issues, employment law, environmental law, police matters, and governmental litigation. CVR will also designate Joseph E. Bond, which is an associate attorney with the law firm, to serve as Mexico's assistant city attorney. Therefore, at this time, I recommend that council proceed with reading by title only and passage of the attached resolution concurring with the city manager's appointment of David A. Struble as city attorney, and authorize myself to sign the legal services agreement with the law firm of Cunningham, Vogel, and Ross for city attorney services. Dave Struble is present this evening. Dave, if you would please stand for just a moment. So if you have any questions of Dave, and you may recognize Dave, he has been with us and operated as special counsel on a couple of projects for us, so he has met with council previously on some other issues. So he is a familiar face to most of us in the room. So with that, council, unless you have any questions, I would recommend you proceed.
Anybody have questions or comments? Anybody want to make a motion?
I make a motion to hire David Struble as a city attorney.
We're not motioning on, or we're just reading.
Let's do the resolution.
I make a motion to read the resolution, bill number 2022-17.
There you go.
Second.
Yes.
Williams. Page.
Yes.
Shivers. Yes. Briggs.
Yes.
Resolution 2022-17, a resolution concurring with the city manager's appointment of a city attorney and authorizing the city manager to sign a legal services agreement for the city attorney services. I move for passage of bill number 2022-17.
Second.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Page.
Yes.
Shivers. Yes. Briggs.
Yes. We move on to Bill number 2022. This also requires reading by title only and passage. Mr. Schlegel.
Yes, Your Honor, this is a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Miss Missouri Scholarship Pageant to provide tourism activities for the city of Mexico, Missouri. Each year, we enter into an agreement with the Miss Missouri Pageant to use general fund support for the pageant, and to cover the details of the resolution, Roger Haynes.
Good evening, council. The agreement between the city and the Miss Missouri Pageant Incorporated is the same as it has been in past years. The 2022 budget does allocate $10,000 to support the Miss Missouri Pageant that will be held in mid-June this year. The city has been providing general fund support to the pageant for several years at the contribution level of $10,000, actually going all the way back to 2001. The only year missed was, of course, during the year of the 2019-2020 budget, when the COVID pandemic eliminated a lot of activities throughout the country. Staff recommends that the City of Mexico and the Miss Missouri Scholarship Pageant Incorporated enter into an agreement promoting tourism, and council proceed with reading and title only and passage of the attached resolution. And we do have with us this evening Alice Leonardi, the Miss Missouri Executive Director, which would like to have a moment just to speak to council about the event.
People are going to be really tired hearing from Leonardi's tonight. On behalf of the Miss Missouri organization, I'm here to thank the council for years and years of support, because without the community's help and support, it wouldn't be possible. A few statistics: this is going to be the 52nd year that the Miss Missouri competition is being held here in Mexico. It also is the 100th anniversary of the Miss America organization. There were 33 Miss Missouris prior to the competition coming to Mexico, and it was held in different places throughout the state, St. Charles, and Springfield, and whatever. And you may or may not know that the way that it actually came to Mexico was Barbara Pickering was serving as a chaperone for the current Miss Mexico to go to the Miss Missouri competition wherever it was. And she and Connie were there and said, we can do this better in Mexico. So they came back and talked to people in the JCs. It was very common back then that JC organizations actually sponsored state competitions. And they took it upon themselves to reach out to Miss America and say, hey, we would like a chance to get the franchise brought to Mexico, Missouri. They did a really good job of promoting and talking, and it was people like Larry Weber and Connie Pickering and Lou Milan and Chuck Rentschler and a cast of people that were back then young enough to be JCs. A group from Miss America actually came to Mexico to look at MMA and the facilities and all that sort of stuff, and it was well before the Gymtorium was there. We held it back in the field house in those days. And it just so happened that the time that the group was making their visit to MMA, we had some kind of monsoonal rains, and when they walked in the field house, it was underwater. But somehow, they still managed to talk their way through, and 52 years later, we're still having the Miss Missouri pageant in Mexico. So hats off to them. This year, we're going to have 24 Miss, 19 teens, and 40-ish Little Sisters. The Little Sisters is a mentoring program where girls 5 through 12 are partnered with one of the girls that are competing. A lot of those are local girls, but the vast majority are coming in from out of town. So it's bringing more people into our community who are going to be staying, spending money, doing things. The actual competition this year is June 15th through 18th, but production people will start arriving the weekend before. The Miss will move into the dorm at MMA on Sunday the 12th, and the teens will be coming into town. They don't stay on campus. They stay with their parents in hotels here in Mexico. They come in on Monday, and so they and their parents will be here all that week. This year, we're going to be awarding between $80,000 and $85,000 in scholarships to both the teens and the Miss, which I think is a pretty remarkable amount of money, and it's really making a huge difference in the life of young women throughout the state. And we're really proud of that. In fact, the Miss Missouri organization, our total scholarships that we give at the state level is one of the highest nationally, so we're really proud of the ability to do that. We're going to be having orientation coming up soon on April the 9th, and all of the competitors, parents, local directors will be in Mexico on April the 9th. Quite a few of them do travel from afar, so they come in Friday night, and again, we'll have people in the hotels those nights. So during the week of June the 12th through the 18th, we're going to have hundreds of extra people in town during that time, and again, we couldn't do it, we couldn't pull it off without the help of our whole community, and especially everything that the city does for us. Our current Miss Missouri, Kelly Cox, wanted to be here tonight, but she had a class, so she couldn't. But she, of course, as many of you know, is a local girl, and since she was crowned back in June, she has made 95 appearances, and of course, every time she goes out, she's not only representing our organization, but she's representing our community throughout the state, every place she goes, and we've been very proud of her. I am very proud of this organization. It's an all-volunteer organization, so all the worker bees, the people like Miss Rita and everybody else, oh, I woke you up, didn't I? Do this because they love what it does for our community, and they love what it does for young women. And I'm really, really proud of this organization. And again, we truly couldn't do it without the support of the city and other people in the community. So thank you so much for your ongoing support throughout the years. It makes a huge difference, and you're really helping to improve the quality of life for a lot of young women in our state. So thank you.
Alice, you may have said this, but how many years have you been involved in this?
You know, it's a really good question, and I don't honestly know. Lou was involved before I was involved, because he was involved back when, he was young enough to be a JC. I honestly didn't get involved too much until our daughter Christy competed in the mid-'90s. And so after she quit competing, I kind of went in a small role and was kind of like the parent liaison, because I kind of understood. And then just kind of with each passing year, a few things. You just took on a few more roles. And then once I retired, I had time to be able to, do more. So, it's something I love. It's something I love more than others some days, just like being on the city council.
Or the League of Women Voters.
But, but it's a great thing. I think it's a great thing for our community. I know that the city has checked many years that if you look at the sales tax revenues from the week before and the week after Miss Missouri, they're never as high as they are during the week of Miss Missouri. So I think that does point to the fact that it does make a positive impact on our community.
It puts us on the map, that's what it does. Anybody else have any questions for Alice? Do I have a motion?
I move that we read bill number 2022-18.
Second.
Williams?
Yes.
Page?
Yes.
Shivers? Yes.
Yes.
Bill number 2022-18, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Miss Missouri Scholarship Pageant Incorporated to provide tourism activities for the city of Mexico, Missouri. I move for passage of bill number 2022-18.
Second.
Williams?
Yes.
Page?
Yes.
Shivers? Yes. Briggs?
Yes. Okay, we are now on bill number 2022-19. This is a little bit different than the first one. Would you mind commenting on it?
Yes. This resolution is authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with the Miss Missouri Scholarship Pageant for recommended funding from the Mexico tourism tax. This resolution is from the Hotel Motel income to help do the advertising for the project for the pageant versus the other one is general support. To cover the details of this resolution, once again, Roger Haynes.
The Mexico Tourism Commission met via Zoom on Thursday, March 3rd, and as part of that meeting, they reviewed an application from the Miss Missouri Scholarship Pageant Incorporated for advertising funding in the requested amount of $10,000. After considerable consideration and review of past fundings, the Commission is recommending a funding in the amount of $8,000. Some of that decision was based on the previous year where it was funded at $8,000 and expenditures were turned in for $6,728. And they also looked at the past 6 years. During the past 6 years, the average amount spent for advertising was $7,668. So that is how they came up with the $8,000 recommendation. Staff recommends that council concur with the Mexico Tourism Commission's recommendation and proceed with reading by title only and passage of the attached resolution. I'd be ready to answer any questions.
I move for reading bill number 2022-19.
Second.
Williams?
Yes.
Page?
Yes.
Shivers? Yes. Briggs?
Yes.
Bill number 2022-19, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with the Miss Missouri Scholarship Pageant Incorporated for recommended funding from the Mexico tourism tax. I move for passage of bill number 2022-19.
Second.
Williams?
Yes.
Page?
Yes.
Shivers? Yes. Briggs?
Yes. All right, moving on. We're moving on to other business. We have the bills to pay claims.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Second. Williams?
Yes.
Page?
Yes.
Shivers? Yes. Briggs?
Yes. And now we're at council comments, and I am going to start with Chris Williams. You always
Gonna
manage
start
never
with
get
me,
started.
huh? All right.
Not
Well,
saying it right.
I got a few things. So first of all, the pageant. it's a great thing for our community. I hope that we can continue to get it. I know that so many communities around us would love to take it, like Branson, for example, would love to have that.
They've lobbied, but
Yeah.
they failed on.
So, and that's great in Dallas. But also, I will mention that on Thursday we have the debate for the council and for the school board, which, again, you are involved in. See, look at that, Leonati everywhere.
Everywhere.
So, and that's at 7 o'clock at the chamber. Lou, appreciate everything you've done over the years. You're a straight up guy, you know, and like you said about honesty, it's you hate to say it, but it's a hard thing to find in a lot of people nowadays. It really is. It's sad but true. So I'll mention the hospital issues. I really hope, I'm not going to bang on anybody, I hope they get it figured out. It's a huge issue for our community. There's things that people haven't even thought of. Like, I was talking to some people today in our lobby, some older people, and you know, they had mentioned that the whole reason they moved into town was because of the hospital. And they're like, you know, maybe we'll move to Columbia, or, I mean, and my great aunt, for example, was a person that I know, she lived out by Perry, and she moved into town for the hospital. So those are things people don't always think about with the hospital. So anything, you know, people can do to help support that, that would be wonderful. And then last but not least, I know we talked about pay last time. I'm going to be honest, it was a little, I just came back from the dentist, so my mouth was there. But I noticed that the public safety put out their hours, and it $16.50 an hour for an officer. And I'm going to say that the public safety department posted 6 officers have died in the state in the last 85 days. Is $16.50 worth that? To me, it's not. So I understand we want to help everybody, but I think we really need to look at public safety as a whole, because I understand we have staffing problems right now as a city, but public safety has been a staffing issue for years here. And when I saw that wage, and I was like, they can go work at True this summer. They just put an ad at True for $20 an hour for summer work. You know, am I going to put my life on the line every day for $16.50 when I can go work here at True for $20? It's something that I think we really need to look at in the future. So that's all I got.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Steve?
I second. Congratulations to Lou. Thank you so much. And also Alice, just I think the tireless devotion to Mexico, not just for what you do for us here on the council. And, you know, I think, you know, Mexico deserves to give you a standing ovation. I think one of the funniest things was the one time maybe the only time I ever saw Lou speechless was when one of the reigning Miss Missouri was staying on stage practicing, and she did not like her outfit, and she was maybe had a few tears in her eyes, and I didn't think Lou had any words for her, and he stood there just staring at her. So I never thought he would be speechless, but he was at that time. So that was one of the things that made me smile when I was out there kind of watching them practice through that. But thanks so much for all your time. Mr. Struble, thank you for taking on the job, and we look forward to working with you, and please don't outshine Lou. He's done a great job, you know. So I know I second the hospital. You know, the one thing that comes to mind, I think we've had great experiences at the hospital, and I think it's the people. You know, the hospital's a building, but when we talk about it, it's made up of people, the doctors, the nurses, and, you know, we still have the great doctors, and, you know, we need to keep those people in our prayers. We need to make sure, you know, hopefully something good comes out of this, and we can keep those great people as part of our community in some way, continue to do their work and provide for the city, and and hopefully they find a solution some way, somehow, whatever that might be. But I just ask the people of Mexico, don't get down on it. I know it's kind of some nervous times, but I know the doctors are still working. I know they want to work here in Mexico, and just stay with them. Other thing, for some reason, people think that I need to hear about this, but we'll get to the potholes. It's getting nice, and I'm sure our city wants to fix those things, but those things happen with winter. Just like the parks are opening, I know people are enjoying those. It's wet. It takes time to get things up to date. Just be patient as it warms up. It's going to take time to get everything back in order from the winter season, and I appreciate the comments, but the people that do these jobs are a lot smarter than I am, and they'll get to it, and as it keeps progressing with the season and the warmth, they'll get those things taken care of, and we'll have our streets beautiful and our parks beautiful, ready for everybody to go. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I can say a lot of dittos. Again, thank you, Lou, for your service. Can't believe it's 45 years. That's a long time.
Well, become a partner in the law firm. I became the campaign manager for one of the partners and got him elected circuit judge, so that's how I put that.
But it worked for you. It worked for you. Well, we appreciate it. Again, welcome to Mr. Struble. Looking forward to the Miss Missouri pageant. As always, Miss Leonardi and your crew does an excellent job each year, and I've enjoyed it since I've moved back. Do want to remind everybody, next week, starting next Friday, not this Friday, the following Friday, is the Easter production at Presser Performing Arts Center. Tickets are already on sale. For such a one as this, if you get a chance, go and see it as we celebrate this wonderful time of the year. Hopefully, we're beginning to see a lot more of the nicer weather outside. So, like you said, just everyone, let's be mindful of everything, be patient and kind, and have a great week.
Okay, well, I'll take my turn at this. First of all, Lou, I really have to admit that I was glad to be able to do the proclamation tonight and take Chris's place, because it thrilled me to do that, and I felt honored doing that. Like I said, the proclamation doesn't say everything that's happened in all those years, and we've certainly known each other a long time. And I remember that President Bush, the first President Bush, nominated you for federal court. It was all very exciting, and then he didn't get reelected. But I remember the FBI coming to interview all the neighbors, and I was one that they interviewed. But I couldn't think of a darn thing to say bad about you. So those FBI people really try. But anyway, I congratulate you on your. I hope you're out in that. I hope we're out in our yard practicing golf with Mike 24/7 like he does. So
I'm not going to hit the balls off the house like you.
All right, and then second of all, I know that we're all very deeply concerned about the hospital situation, and appreciate your remarks. And I just want to say that I'm sure as a city, we're doing everything we can to support those people. We really don't have any involvement in what they're doing, but we can just hope for the best. I know we're holding our breath just like everybody else. But I know there are good people working on it, and so we just pray. And with that, I'm going to go to the public comments. And did I forget Bruce? Mr. Slago, I forgot you do this.
The only thing that I would add is that, and this is about the potholes, most of them that I find is on the state routes. And we've been after them to fix them, and as Kenzie knows, he wrote email last week about it, and he's working on that as well, so, But thank you.
Okay,
That's
I
it.
forgot.
Yep.
All right, we'll go to public comments, and anybody want to make a public comment can step up to the mic. You've got 3 minutes. You need to state your name and address, and if we have none, then I will ask for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Williams,
Yes.
Page,
Yes.
Schiffer,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.